As students, we want to spend the least amount of time on the things that we have to do, aka learning more efficient and faster, so that we have more time to do on the things that we actually enjoy doing. Because school never taught us how to study properly, we often spend a lot of time and sometimes abandon the idea completely because we don't find learning rewarding or fun. After a while, I discovered some methods for studying that worked for me, and here I want to present to you those methods. And the thing is that you want to give some time to learn how to study because it will help you massively on the long run. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Paul, and today we are talking about active recall, the best technique for studying. Well, why is this the most effective method of studying, you'd ask? The upfront conclusion is that for us to memorize things, we don't have to stuff a lot of information in our heads, but instead to take out that information from our heads. We don't need to pull things in, we have to pull things out to ask questions. Now let's dive deeper. We as students tend to open up a notebook and just reread the paragraphs that we already know, that we open the book at the first page, that we repeat it over and over again. But this is not the way to study properly. I am sorry to tell you, but for studying you have to do some active effort. And this is where active recall comes in. How our brain works is every time we want to recall a memory, let's say a memory with my grandma where I was with my parents and my sister, and she baked us a cake, and I smelled the nice perfume in her house, and I felt her warm hug. And now after years, when I'm trying to recall this memory in my head, some bits of that memory would have fallen off, and they would leave some gaps. And the way my brain works, our brain works, is that it recognizes those gaps, but he uses some familiar information that he gained through the years to put some stuff, some patching uh, over those gaps so that our memory would be full. That's why after a while you may change some bits of the information about your memory. Let's say now you didn't eat a cake, you drank some lemonade, and you weren't with your family but you are alone. This is normal stuff that our brain does to patch our memories so that we don't lose them completely. Another fact about our brain, this is the last one I promise, is that when we recall a memory like this one, we don't just access a folder in the computer of our brain. We actually reconstruct the whole code line of that specific memory. And this is why active recall is so important, because we rewrite the code line as if it was a new memory. This is why it changes, and this is why it stays up in our heads for so long, because every time we think about it, we rewrite the whole code of that memory. So what is active recall? Basically, it does this thing of pulling out memories from your head in the way of learning new stuff, by pulling information from it, by saying to your brain that I need that information in my life because I am asking actively to retain that information. The brain will know that, oh, this information really is helpful for him. Let's put that in the long term so it helps him over a longer period of time. Okay, so how do you put this into practice? First of all, you have to take out your guns and escape your fear of starting, escape your procrastination, and just learn something bit by bit, phrase by phrase, in a logical way, hopefully. And after that, you take a blank page, you go to your desk, and you start writing down everything you learn. Or you can just read a paragraph, try to understand it, and then come to that blank page and make a resume, a one sentence resume of that paragraph that you just read. This is why it's called active recall, because you have to actively put in the effort and really do the intense work that we hate doing. You have to force yourself sometimes to recall that information as hard as you can, because this is how you memorize stuff. And I'm sorry, but you did nothing if after studying you can't reproduce what you study with your own words. You don't have to write things down, but reconstruct everything that you read in your head actively. What I mean by this is that you can start rebuilding the pathway that you took into learning that topic in the first place. Let's say, think about the connections that you made during your first studying. Think about what you studied before the thing that you want to recall, what you studied after. What sparked a thing in your head when you read that chapter or that paragraph or that topic? This is basically how I do it. I try to remember what did my professor say when he explained this to me. How did it all come to this point of this paragraph? Why is this here? How did I learn it in the first place? And I do that everywhere. I don't have to be home, I don't have to be at my desk, I don't have to have a pencil and a blank page in front of me. I can do that in school, on the street, on my way home from school, in church sometimes. And I just do that in my head. I recall everything that I learned, and I hope that you can take this one thing from this video, that you should put in the effort and force yourself to recall those things. And what I mean by this is, if you don't remember something, don't just go to the notebook and read what you forgot. Really try as hard as you can to recall that information without the need of the notebook, because this will make that information retain in your head much better. And after you recall everything, then you can go to the notebook and see if what you remember was correct, so that your brain didn't play that game with you of patching up the holes in your memory. So from time to time you have to go to the notebook to see if you were correct, but not in the first place, only after you recalled everything. I'm telling you, this is the best thing that you can do to study effectively. This is a video in my series of how to study effectively, and the next one will be about spaced repetition, the second most important technique that you need for studying. And I hope that you enjoy this. You can check out the last video that I made on this series and the playlist right here. And thank you so much for watching. I wish you a powerful mind and a productive weekend. Bye!